Good morning. It's June 10th, 2023. I'm going to do a specific video today on peppers. So I did a video on our all-around garden a couple of weeks ago, but I thought it would be fun to just highlight one vegetable. I'm going to do this every couple of weeks until we get through what's growing in our garden that might help anybody, or you know, anybody has any questions, or if anybody has any information that I don't have, please share that. So this is our pepper bed. This is a raised bed. It's 3 feet wide and 18 inches deep, no bottom. So we don't put bottoms in our beds, and we let grass grow between the beds. We have our beds spaced far apart, far enough apart that I can mow between them. So it just makes it easier to work in them. You're not kneeling in dirt or mulch or whatever. So these peppers are all caged, and the reason that we do that, we use small tomato cages because pepper plants are pretty fragile. They snap and break easily, the stems do. So this really gives them a lot more strength. You know, if you have a windstorm or something come through, they really protect the plant. It helps them a lot. And sometimes when those peppers get, the big peppers especially, get big and heavy, it'll break the plant. So that's why we do that. So we have a lot of different kinds of peppers in here. We like to try different ones every year. So we have giant Marconi, which we've had for several years, that we really like. It's a good, really big, sweet pepper that you can also roast. We have orange blaze, we have some red peppers, we have our standard California wonders, and then we have quite a few sweet banana peppers. We have a new one this year. It's called sweet sunset banana peppers. We have never tried those before. We're trying them this year. But so June 10th, and we have some really nice peppers on and a lot of blossoms, which is great. So normally we wouldn't have used any fertilizer in our peppers because I always read that peppers don't like fertilizer. Well, this year and last year too, we started using the low nitrogen fertilizer. It's called Tomato Tone, and it's a lower nitrogen fertilizer, but a little bit higher in phosphorus and potassium. So that's what we use on our peppers. But we haven't had peppers this early on our plants before that I remember. Usually they're later in the summer, so they're doing really great. So, and this hosta is really doing great on the end too, and that's even in full sun, so it's doing good. So full sun meaning at least 6 to 8 hours of sun on your peppers, and most vegetables require the same amount of light. But these peppers, we started a few in the house from seed, and we bought quite a few from some greenhouses that we like to visit because we like to try different varieties. And peppers take a very long time to germinate, so they can take up to 6 to 8 weeks to even germinate. So that's a long time. So that's why we also buy some. So when we buy the plants, we buy them very small from the greenhouses. We like to go out early, like end of April, 1st of May, when they have a lot of their plants in, but they're not too busy and they're not too big. And then we buy them and bring them home, and we'll put them in 4-inch pots with some fertile loam potting soil, and then we'll put them in the greenhouse and let them go and grow until it's time to put them out in the raised beds. So that's what we do, and they're doing really well. It's fun to try different kinds. We don't generally grow hot peppers just because we don't eat hot peppers. We always grow sweet peppers, and I used to freeze them, just chop them and freeze them. You don't even have to do anything but clean them, chop them, and freeze them, but I have been dehydrating also. Last year I dehydrated all the peppers that we kept and didn't eat, and man, that's a great way to do it. So we will just eat most of these raw in salads, and they're really good. So, and then when they're all done, of course, we pull the plants, we turn the soil with a garden fork, and then we also add our own compost that we make here. So we save our chopped up leaves, we put grass, you know, any kind of weeds from weeding. Sometimes we put vegetable scraps in, but just your general yard waste in a big pile, and then we turn it with the tractor bucket, and then that turning of the compost makes it heat up and cook and kill any of the weed seeds, and it breaks it down into really, really beautiful soil for the garden. So we amend our beds every year with the garden compost soil. So there it is. There is our pepper bed, and I'll do another video in a couple of weeks of another plant. But this bed actually holds about 36 pepper plants. That's a lot of pepper plants in one bed that's only 3 feet wide by 18 deep. And I think it's 16 feet long. So 3 by 16 by 18 deep, 18 inches deep. And again, no bottoms, because you want those roots to go deep into the ground, and they will. They'll go deep, especially these tomatoes. You know, our tomatoes get so tall, they will come out of the top of these cages. Actually, they get so tall, but if they didn't have the room for those roots to go down into the ground, then they wouldn't get so big. And we'll do a video on tomatoes next, but I just wanted to show you the peppers. Peppers are doing fabulous this year. They've already got peppers, and they're flowering, and they're doing really well. So slow, deep watering, not saturated wet, but keep them moist. And depending on the weather, we will let the top 2-3 inches dry and then water, because the roots go down deep then. So when you water deep, then the roots are going to seek that water and go down deep, which is what you want. You don't want to water shallow, because then the roots are going to be all up shallow, and they have more of a chance to dry out because they're not going down deep. So that's what we do. So, you know, usually if it's hot in the summer, I'll water every second or third day. Just check it out and see what it needs, and then just give it that, and you'll be good. Look at those great peppers. They're doing awesome. Can't wait to start having some of these in our salads and just to munch on. Good stuff. Okay, if you guys have any tips, you know, with your peppers, growing them, let me know. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments, and we'll try to help you out. But we've been growing this way for a long time. This bed, I don't know, I guess this garden bed's probably close to 30 years old, and it's really going strong. We use them every single year, and they're doing great. It's quite a good investment. We also make sure that we put the beds spaced far apart enough that we can mow in between them, because it's really nice not having to kneel in the mud or wood chips or whatever, you know, people put down between their rows. Of course, we have the bigger garden out here, but that's for extra stuff, and then vining plants too. But we really love using these raised beds. And the other great thing about raised beds is whatever you put in it, whatever kind of fertilizer, plant food, or whatever you put in the bed, it tends to stay within that area more because it doesn't leach down into, the soil surrounding it because it's contained. So that helps a lot too. Anyways, have a great weekend and I'll talk to you later. See ya.